Through you, Madam Speaker. Line 34 says, when a claimant is given notice to appear at a deposition, let's go down to 36, the claimant shall be entitled to reimbursement of wages. Let's go down to 38, as provided in this subsection. The clear reading of this subsection refers to this subsection B. The next line says that when liability or extent of disability is contested, the claimant shall be entitled, if he or she prevails on final judgment, to payment for services rendered him or her, and the claimant shall be entitled to receive payment of 1/5 of the weekly compensation. Reading this as provided in the subsection, it clearly states that only if they prevail are they entitled to A, the reimbursement having to do with the services provided by the physicians, and B, the portion of the weekly compensation. So I am curious as to how the proponent of the bill is reading this to say that if the claimant does not prevail, that they will then be entitled to those wages. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Cuevas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would say that in following your reading, when you miss an entire line on 37 when it says loss by reason of appearance, that changes the whole definition of the emphasis of the bill. So if I would to skip line 37, certainly I would agree with you. However, line 37 changes the entire perception of your reading. Thank you. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Buck-Taylor.
Through you, Madam Speaker, if I could refer the proponent of the bill to the existing Section 31-312. It states, compensation for time lost during an expensive medical treatment, reimbursement of wages lost due to appearance at informal hearing, payments to prevailing claimants in contested cases. It then goes on to subsection A, subsection B, subsection C. So are we now changing the descriptor on 31-312 to say payments to any claimant in contested cases? Through you, Madam Speaker, to the proponent of the bill?
Representative Cuevas.
If you can give me a second, ma'am, just to follow on the line she's speaking of. Thank you. To you, Madam Speaker, can I ask that you indicate again the lines again for me, please?
Okay, if you look
Representative Buck-Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Through you again to the proponent. If you look at the existing statute, it starts with Section 31-312, compensation for time lost during an expensive medical treatment, reimbursement of wages lost due to appearance at informal hearing, payments to prevailing claimants in contested cases, medical attention outside regular work hours. It then starts with subsection A, which is where the proposed bill starts. So my question through you, Madam Speaker, is that are we now changing those introductory sentences of the statute to no longer have prevailing claimants, and we're reinterpreting Section B to not include just prevailing claimants? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Cuevas.
According to what I'm reading on page 919, when a claimant is given a notice to appear for a conference of an informational hearing and commissioner does appear, he shall be entitled to reimbursement of wages lost for reason of an appearance. So I would say no, we're not changing it at all, ma'am.
So
Representative Buck-Taylor.
So to you, Madam Speaker, in the current bill, which states that the claimant shall be entitled, if he or she prevails on final judgment, to payment for services rendered to him or her, and the claimant shall be entitled to receive payment of 1/5, we are not taking the phrase prevails on final judgment to apply to both the medical bills and the wages. We're bifurcating it and saying that it only applies to the medical wages, but somehow the employer is to continue to be on the hook even if the claimant does not prevail. Through you, Madam Speaker, to the proponent.
Representative Cuevas.
Through you, Madam Speaker, it only pertains to wages.
Representative Buck-Taylor.
Madam Speaker, that is not my reading of this bill. It's clear that that was not the intent of the original bill. The fact that we're now saying prevailing in the final judgment only applies to this part and not that part, whereas in the original bill it was A, B, and C, I think is doing an injustice to the English language. I would submit that the bill as written should be interpreted to have the necessity to prevail at judgment apply to both the conjunctives, which is the portion before the and the portion after the and. And I would submit that that should be the interpretation we have, and if the legislative intent is that that is not the interpretation, I'm glad that we have made that clear. So thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the proponent of the bill.